Hey everybody, it's me again. I'm doing a new video. Today I wanted to do a quick topic about how to bond with your tarot deck. This is basically just for newcomers who have just gotten into tarot deck or just new to the tarot reading scene. Maybe they're just not really sure what to do with the tarot deck and so forth and so on. But I'm going to be focusing more on the bonding aspect as opposed to more mostly on the bonding aspect as opposed to the reading. I'll get to the reading part too, but I'm focusing on like bonding, like getting acclimated to your deck. So there are many tips and tricks on how to get acclimated to your deck. One tip I would really recommend is, for example, sorry about that. The cards are just fumbling everywhere, but one tip that I highly recommend you to do from the beginning is scroll through the deck and look at the imagery. Like I'd say take the imagery all in. Get acclimated to the deck. What does it feel like? Really just think about to yourself, what is the vibe that this deck gives me? Oh, my cat just walked in, so sorry if you see him on the camera, but what is this deck? One thing you want to do is really just take in all the imagery. Think about what the vibe of the deck is. Another thing is, think about what you want to do with the deck. Are you going to do self-readings only? Are you going to do readings for only other people? Or are you going to have multiple decks for different purposes? Like, are you going to, like what I just said before, are you just going to do self-readings? Are you going to do only readings for other people? Are you going to do both like I do? Or just think about really what your deck is in purpose for. Because I know there are tarot readers out there that, have one deck that they use for self-readings only, and then they have like another deck that they use for only reading other people. And I know there's some readers, I know a couple readers that only do themselves or do readings for themselves. They don't read people at all. Other people at all. My bad. I'm just repeating myself. Sorry about that. But it's been a while since I did a video. But well, yeah, this is the thing I'm trying to say is really think about what you want to do with the deck. Another thing is really just go at your own pace. Honestly, like just go out, go on your own pace. There really is no right or wrong way to practice. That's another thing. Take your time. Don't feel bad if you maybe you have a friend who's also into tarot reading. Don't feel bad if maybe you're excelling quicker than they are, or they're going faster than they are, and you're just taking extra time to learn. Don't feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad. It's just you just take your time. Tarot reading is basically kind of like a lifelong study. I mean, there's like so many books and stuff and different interpretations from different readers and scholars and stuff like that. So just don't push yourself too hard. If you don't instantly see like results, you know what I mean? Just go at your own pace. Go what's comfortable. Another thing, I've said this before in different videos. Another thing that I really recommend for beginner readers is really, personally, this part of this is going to be a bit biased, but pick the Rider-Waite. Pick a Rider-Waite deck. The Rider-Waite is perfect. It's very self-explanatory, and it's the deck that I started with, and I would probably think a lot of people would agree with me when saying begin with the Rider-Waite Smith deck. I think once you get acclimated to the Rider-Waite Smith, because I think it's a perfect beginner deck for a couple of reasons. One, because there's many online resources and books and stuff that are based off the Rider-Waite Smith that can help you learn. Another thing is that the images, at least to me, I don't know if people would agree with me, but at least to me, a lot of the imagery is self-explanatory. Even if you don't know tarot and you're like a complete, absolute beginner, some of the imagery might be like very obvious to you, like, oh, the Eight of Cups. Oh, he's walking away, so maybe it's a card of leaving something behind. Stuff like that. I'd say this is just a partially biased thing, but I'd say start with the Rider-Waite. But once you're done with the Rider-Waite and you're acclimated, feel free to move on to any deck you want to. If you want to move on to like a Thought deck like I did, or you want to move on to a Martyrs Day, or you just want to move on to another Rider-Waite based deck, go for it. I've said this before in a different video. I think I might have said something like this before, but pick a deck that's absolutely comfortable for you. Honestly, there really is no right or wrong way to do tarot, which I'm pretty sure I did say that in a different video. But yeah, there really is no right or wrong way. It just pick the style that fits for you. Let me think. You don't have another. Oh, okay. I know another one. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Feel free to do your own thing. Okay, like I know there are some readers out there that are like, oh, you have to use reversals. You have to use reversals. You have to use reversals. Which, personally, I like reversals. Reversals. I used to not like them until I tried them, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I mean, there really is no downside from what I've seen. I've seen videos of people of readers that don't do reversals, and it seems like it doesn't really mess up their readings at all. So I mean, I think just do your own style. I mean, you don't have to. Don't be afraid to stand out. Just you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. It's cool. Similarly, on the same vein of not worrying about what everyone else is doing, don't be afraid to use different decks. I mean, you don't have to use like wider weight like everyone else is. I mean, personally, I would recommend if you start with wider weight because it's very simplistic. But I mean, outside of being a beginner, you don't necessarily have to read with cards like everyone else is doing, like the same deck. Like, look at me. Besides being a wider weight fanboy, my bad. But look, one of my favorite decks. I've been using it a lot, and I want to collect more of them. Currently, actually, funny enough, I've been contemplating getting the large Thoth, but it's like, I mean, besides being bigger and having 2 extra cards, I mean, there really is no difference from my experience with this one that I could get from that one that I haven't already had with this one. I mean, basically just be doing the same readings with these same cards, but bigger. But I mean, there really no right or wrong deck, really. Oh, okay. I don't know if people would agree with me on this, but this is just me. But one thing that I think would help a beginner reader get closer to tarot cards, or like their tarot deck, is learn the symbolism. And I'm not saying that you have to go on a whole deep dive of like the philosophy and like religion of tarot cards and stuff of that nature, but I think learning a bit about the symbolism of your tarot deck cards, like the imagery and like the references and stuff like that, I think that would get you closer to tarot cards or your deck in specific. Like for example, the Thoth deck, for example. The Thoth deck, for example, takes a lot of inspiration from astrology, and so on all the cards, or at least on the major arcana, I think, or yeah, I think it's on some of the. Yeah, never mind, my bad. On the lesser arcana, look, you can see over here on the left corner. It kind of looks like the right corner with the camera, but the Seven of Wands story card. It's the I think it's Mars. It's the astrological symbol. But yeah, I think it'd be. That's one of the things. Like, oh yeah, and then here's this one. It's like a couple symbols, like astrological symbols, and I think some of these are alchemical symbols, like alchemy or something like that. But yeah, learning the symbolism and like where the inspiration of the artist took with the cards, I think could help you bond with the deck, especially if maybe the artist had coincidentally had similar like religious views to you or something like that. I think that would help you bond with the deck more, just taking in all the imagery and stuff of that nature. Uh, I don't know if I said this before already, but sorry if I'm repeating myself. But do self reads often, like maybe like every day when you wake up in the morning, maybe like shuffle your deck. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you keep your deck like on a desk next to your bed or something like that. Every day you wake up, maybe take out your deck and shuffle and draw a card. Like, oh, what is my card of the day? Help yourself feel good and stuff like that. Like, shoot, there. Oh, oops. I didn't mean to do that. I messed up. Look, here, I'll draw myself. Here, let me just. I won't take too long. Yeah, I messed up a bit, but I mean, it's alright. Look, oh, look, the moon's on the bottom. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Wow, I got 8 of Wands, the Strength card. See that focus, but yeah, it's fun. I say wow because it's like, I say wow like that because I literally drew that card, I think yesterday actually. Because I did a day of the, I forgot to do one this morning, but I did like a self read like yesterday. I can't remember if it was like a card of the day or something like that. I just did like a random one card pull for myself, and I actually got that same like 8 of Wands strength card. I got that same card yesterday. So that's funny that I literally shuffled the deck and like I got the same card, but that's pretty funny. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent, but yeah, don't be a go for it. Go for self reads if you want to. I mean, some people just like to read for themselves, and that's perfectly fine. But honestly, this is just my take. But I think, always, funnily enough, my first reading I ever did was like a reading for someone else. And while that was fun and dandy, personally, I think if you're a beginner, I think you should really just focus on learning by reading yourself for a while. And then once you feel up to like, you feel confident enough, then move on to reading other people. Because I think, yeah, and while you're reading people, I think do like I said earlier, like learn the symbolism and stuff like that. Now, okay, now I know I keep repeating that point. Personally, you don't have to learn the symbolism. I know that might sound like I'm just taking back what I said. Now, when I said learn the symbolism, I mean learn the symbolism not in the sense that you have to learn the symbolism, otherwise you won't be able to read cards or it's not going to make sense to you. I mean, because personally, you don't really have to learn the symbolism to be able to read cards. I mean, I'm not really 100%. I'm not really 100% with all like the references and like I'm not really that well versed in astrology. I like my knowledge of astrology is on a basic level, but that doesn't stop me from reading the Thoth deck. But I think why I keep saying learning the symbolism is because I think it brings you closer to the deck because it's like, oh, if like, let's say you're scrolling through that your deck or you do like a reading for yourself or something and you do like a 1 card spread, then you look at you pull out a card and you see like the picture in the background like, oh yeah, that card, that little house is a reference to such and such from whatchamacallit, or oh oh yeah, this has the strength card has Sagittarius. Or at least I think that's Sagittarius. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, oh yeah, it's a Sagittarius card, the zodiac sign. I think it'd just be pretty cool to be plus, I mean, it'd be cool to learn, and plus, if you have friends that are into tarot, I mean, you could like impress them and stuff like that, and wow them with like your knowledge and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I mean, I just go on tangents. I know. That's just my thing. I just go on tangents. I just go on tangents. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I joke. Listen, I know I seem serious at times, but I can be pretty goofy yeah, let me think, because I'm kind of going on a blank. Hmm. Oh, okay. I know another one. Another way to bond. If you can, maybe if you have like a friend group, maybe you have a friend group that reads tarot cards, or maybe you have like a psychic fair or something like that, or like a psychic or tarot readers like club or something like that. Maybe you sign yourself up for those and like read people. Maybe travel, take your deck with you places. Like say like maybe you travel a lot, maybe because you're busy with work and stuff like that, or something like that. Don't be afraid to take your deck around with you. Get closer to it. I mean, you get free time. Maybe you're like at a coffee shop or something. Maybe pull out your deck and do a quick read for yourself or something like that. I think taking it with you places would help you bond with it more and stuff of that nature. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's just pretty much it. I mean, honestly, just don't be afraid to take it with you places. Don't be afraid to really just do your own thing, or don't be afraid to learn from multiple sources. Yeah, that's one of the last thing I'm gonna say is like, personally for me, don't be afraid. This is what I did, honestly, but don't be afraid to take from multiple sources. So don't be afraid to learn meanings from the little booklet that it comes with, assuming it does come with a booklet. Don't be afraid to learn from YouTube videos. Don't be afraid to also learn from books. Don't be afraid to basically just don't be afraid to take knowledge from multiple sources. I mean, there really is no right or wrong way to read tarot cards, and even then, even if there was a right way, I mean, tarot cards are so old. I mean, you'd have to build a time machine and to find out, and even then, who are you gonna ask? Who are you really gonna ask how to what's the definitive answer on how to do tarot cards correctly? I mean, good luck finding the guy. But I mean, that's just my thing. There's just no real right or wrong way to do it. Just do your own thing. Don't be afraid to stand out or you know. But that's just my thing. But I'm gonna catch you guys later. This is just my quick video that I wanted to do for y'all because it's been a while since I've done a video. So I hope to make more videos. I'll I probably will do like a catch up video on how I probably will do a catch up video on how my opinions on the Thoth Tarot, but I'd have to really just think about what I'm gonna say and stuff of that nature because like I don't know I really enjoyed the deck, but I'll see you later.